I told you this ain't your mama's church. But I never heard something like that at Mass. Right? All right. All right, so today we have a theme, and it's surprise. and this is part one. When I think about surprise, it's like, that song was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that, but what a good thing. And what I loved about her song was, you know what? Things in our life, oh, you're back. I'm sorry. Welcome home. Surprise! But the thing about life is that things happen in our life that we're not expecting, and we might be really upset about at the time, right? So this is from Meister Eckhart. He says, be prepared at all times for the gifts of God, and be ready always for new ones. For God is 1,000 times more ready to give than we are to receive. And so things happen in our life, and we think, oh my, how could this happen to me? How could this horrible thing happen to me? I want to ask you a question. What if you got a diagnosis, or someone said to you, you only have 7 days to live? What would you be doing those 7 days? What would be, after the shock, what would be important in your life? Think about that for a minute. Wouldn't you want those that you love to know how much you love them and what they've meant to you in your life? Because you wouldn't want to leave here without them knowing that. And so take that time, really take that time. Every day should be a day of gratitude for the things in your life. For the little gifts, look for them, and even look back at some of those negative things that happened in your life. They brought you to who you are today. They brought you maybe to this center, to recognize that each one of us is such a divine aspect. We're all unique. Yes, we have what we might consider flaws. Other people might think they're flaws. But don't take any day for granted. I always say, God, when I wake up in the morning, and even if it's kind of cloudy out, we've got these beautiful mountains that surround us. I feel like they're like hugging us in their own way. Don't take for granted where we live, because God knows we could be in the Middle East. Count your blessings. Train your mind to see the good in every situation. Even if you're having, let's say, relationship issues or something, be honest with that person about what hurt you. Not from a condemning way or whatever, but what you want to make. If it's, like I said a few weeks ago when I did Zip It, don't be arguing with people. Why? Do you think you're going to change their mind? No. The surprise is you're not. Probably. But if you live a certain way, you might influence them that way when they see, wow, boy, that Dale, she's got her stuff together. Yeah. But we all have our moments, right? And I want to share with you. This is supposedly a quote from Pope Francis. You can have flaws, be anxious, and even be angry, but don't forget that your life is the greatest business in the world. Only you can stop it from failure. You are appreciated, admired and loved by many. Remember that being happy is not having a sky without storms, a road without accidents, a job without effort, relationships without disappointments. Being happy is to stop feeling a victim. Please stop that. Okay? And become the author of your own destiny. It's going through deserts, but being able to find an oasis deep in your soul. It's to thank God every morning for the miracle of life. It's kissing your children. Oh, right, pie. Cuddling your parents. Having poetic moments with your friends, even when they hurt us. To be happy is to let live the creature that lives in each of us, free, joyful, and simple. It's having maturity to be able to say, I made mistakes. Having the courage to say, I'm sorry. It's having a sensitivity to say, I need you. May your life become a garden of opportunities for happiness. That in spring I can be a lover of joy, and in winter a lover of wisdom. And when you make mistakes, start over. Because only then will you fall in love with life. You will find that being happy doesn't mean having a perfect life. But she uses tears to irrigate tolerance. Use your defeats to train your patience. Use your mistakes with the serenity of the sculptor. Use pain to tune into pleasure. Use obstacles to open the windows of intelligence. Never give up. Above all, never give up on the people that love you. Never give up on happiness. Because life is an amazing show. So remember that. And this, by Louise Hay. I find that the more willing I am to be grateful for the small things in life, the bigger stuff just seems to show up from unexpected sources. And I am constantly looking forward to each day with all the surprises that keep coming my way. So remember that. Yeah, we all have crap that happens in our life. I'm just going to say it. There's not anybody here that I'm sure you could say, oh, it was all blissful and, oh, just, Well, wow, you didn't learn anything, did you, coming here? Right? So look for the surprises, and when they happen and they're painful, just know something good is going to come out of this. I know it, I claim it, and I'm going to make it happen. So in closing, and if when it's all over, I'm asked what I did with my life, I want to be able to say, I offered love. And that's what I say to all of you, and to my boys, and to everybody in my family. And that's what we all are here for, is to offer life. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Dr. Laura. All right, ding, ding, round two. Here we go. Rise up. Hello, dyslexia. When we're talking about what we're going to be doing, I took into the effect of rise up, and where my talk is going to be coming from is right on the coattails of what she was talking about, which is basically rising up and going beyond what the relative is happening in our lives. So let's just start off with the joke, and let's get that out of the way, because I'm not funny. If you could kick a person responsible for most of your troubles, you wouldn't sit for a month. Theodore Roosevelt, our wonderful president, is the one who said that one. I just absolutely love that. But isn't that true? It seems like most of the problems that I have in my life have been self-induced. Sure, I'd like to blame someone else, but it was my reaction to what they were saying. Because believe me, that Irish part of me comes out in a millisecond. You say just the wrong word and just the wrong tone, and boo! I'm the Triple Crown. I'm off to the races, and I think I'm going to get the wreath around my neck. I get going so fast. Oh, I love it. Are you willing to see life for what it really is? Talking about rising up. What is life really about? It's not about the day-to-day, got to go to work, got to pay the bills, got to kiss the wife or the husband on the cheek, got to rub the little kids' heads, help them with their homework. That's not what life is about. Life is about experiencing this moment, your life, the new horizon, what's over around the corner, living that expectant life. That's what life is really about, is that adventure of the unknown becoming the known. Your world revolves around you. Is that a yes or a no? I would agree with that. My world revolves around me. Everything I do is about me. Why shouldn't it be? It's my world. It's your world. You really have to take care of yourself and what's important to you. But make sure that what's important to you doesn't take away from someone else. That's when you're living in alignment with Spirit. The whole world, all of existence, is ready for you to claim it. The only small caveat is not to take it from someone else. That's an easy rule, but sometimes we mess up. Sometimes we're unaware. So to be able to say this statement, say yes with authority, isn't being selfish, it's being in alignment with Spirit. Life sometimes bites, however. It sure does. What you expect something to happen doesn't. A way of life that you're building towards. Maybe you have that partner, that husband, that wife that you're expecting to build that life with, but something goes awry. Yes, you can get down in the dumps like Dr. Laura was saying, but it's your choice. It's our choice whether we stay down in that low vibration or do we rise up, becoming more and learning from that experience. Because honestly, this life is nothing but a series of experiences so that each of us can grow, learn, and love. And by having those experiences that aren't that great, gives us continuity in what we want to experience and what we want to put forward. I want to put forward love, respect, honesty. I want to lift the people around me up. Not because it's a burden. No, it's a joy. I want to rise people up because as a whole, we all get to ride in that boat if we all rise up. Their world doesn't revolve around me. That's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I take one pill a day, and it takes me sometimes 30 seconds to get that sucker down. And my wife laughs at me. She's like, really? It's one pill. But it's true. Their world doesn't revolve around you. Yes, I'm in a relationship with each and every one of you. And my world revolves around me, and your world revolves around you, and we come together just like atoms to create form, and sometimes we separate. It's all life. It's all unfolding perfectly. In that moment, it may be painful, it may be uncomfortable, but it's the lessons that really stick to us when they aren't the most pleasant that really stick in our memory. The fun ones, in 2 years, I may have forgotten it. But that one whooping I had as a kid, boy, I still remember it like it happened yesterday. Now it's story time, the Boys and Girls Club. That just came to me the other day, and this is a quick little story talking about things happening that you didn't expect, that life that I was planning to build. I was married once, and we had 2 great kids. And for whatever reason, we don't need to get into that, that relationship dissipated, and it devastated me because I thought I had ruined the life for my children. Because again, I'm all about building up. And here I was, a failure at life, a failure at this institution called marriage. But little did I know, that failure in that moment allowed me the opportunity to be and grow and do more. It's through gratitude for the present moment that spiritual dimension of life opens up. That's what I'm talking about here. That's where this rise up comes from. Instead of wallowing in that pain or that moment that's discomfort, be in gratitude. Sometimes that's hard. And that's why we have prayer ministry here to help you, to see the gratitude of life, even at the darkest. Like Dr. Joe says, I may walk through the shadow of death. I will not build a condo. But it is so true. By living in that gratitude, we can get past anything. But then on the other end, we are so much more, so much powerful, so much more filled of love for that next relationship or that next endeavor, to be more conscious, to be more connected with this life, acting through an as spirit coming down, or I don't like that word coming down because it talks about separation. When you are able to recognize the power that's already within you and live from that power, your life can't do nothing except expand and become more of what you put into spirit. Oh, I talk too much. The slide says, the water has always been there. I'm the one who has to pick it up and drink it. Spirit has always been there. This glass of water represents spirit. It's demonstrated as something outside of you, but it is actually inside of you. That spirit, that divine ideal, that divine inspiration is already inside of you, has been inside of you since before you were even you. It's when you recognize that and can pick it up and use it to refresh yourself, to quench yourself, to fill you up with that nutrition of love. I just now realized, here we talk about, okay, here we go, going off on a tangent. We talk about all these other religions. First week of the month, Dr. Dale talks about the various religions that we celebrate and honor. And I like to call this a philosophy, not a religion, because a religion just makes it like we are right. A philosophy is taking every idea and culminating it into what is true. So one of the things Catholicism says is accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior and be healed. Isn't taking a drink of water recognizing that it's spirit? By recognizing the spirit that's already within you, and you're able to manifest the dreams that you want to experience. Isn't that the same type of thing? But we're saying it in our own language, in our own verbiage. This is what I love about this philosophy, is that you can see different ways of praying, different ways of just being a spiritual person and not go, oh, they're wrong and I'm right. No, it's saying, I see that difference and I love that difference because it makes me conscious of another person's world, but it also makes me grateful for the world that I have built and I understand Does that make sense? I just love this stuff. So cheers. Enjoy the water. It's always been there. And it will always be there. You just need to take a drink and realize that it's already within your grasp. Buckle up, Buttercup, and enjoy the ride.
Oh my God. So you may wonder why I come on the stage when my fellow ministers are on the floor. It's because I am short, and those of you in the back cannot see me if I am on the floor, so I do it for you. So this would be surprise part 3, and I always want to say how honored I am and privileged to be able to speak to you today. And as Spirit would have it, I had a little surprise of my own come up this week when I was in my yard and I noticed it looked like there was water coming up from the ground. And I thought, I got a surprise here that I need to deal with. And so I thought about, okay, God, I hope it's not something that's in the house that's going on, but maybe it's an irrigation issue. So I called the guy that does my irrigation. He came out. He knew exactly what was going on, and I had a feeling how much it would cost, and whew, it's a lot. But I knew it was going to be that, and so I said, yeah, let's get this going. It has to be. I have no choice. And so when he left, I could have gone, I had a choice. I could have gone into a place of utter freak-out meltdown, but I was in such a heightened state of consciousness that I actually did choose to go to gratitude. I was grateful I have the money to cover it. I was grateful I have somebody reliable that will take care of my problem quickly, easily, and effortlessly. So I went to that place. And it's not to say that I enjoyed that surprise, because you know what? I don't like surprises. I'm just going to tell you, I don't like them. I just don't. Okay, there we have it. It's out there. But I found the gratitude. And as Dr. Laura and Reverend William talked about the experience of surprise, you've noticed that choice is involved. You've noticed that they have reminded us that there is something we could do to go to a place of creating better out of something that was maybe not so desirable to live into. So I like to go to Ernest Holmes. He's one of my favorite. For those of you that don't know who he is the person who is the founder of our philosophy called Science of Mind. And so we like to refer to him because he had a great way of saying things that land really well in the heart. And he said, nature will not let us stay in any one place too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. And to me, I say, oh, I get it. This is why there's so many surprises in life. Because we cannot stay put forever. Because we've got a life here to live. We've got evolving to take place within ourselves. So we must have surprises so that we can move into this other territory of expanding ourselves. You notice he didn't say, and it's going to be very unpleasant. He just says, we got to get moving. And spirit. And our soul, guys, our soul is the one that's leading the charge for us to live even bigger, even better than what we think we're stuck in. Because a lot of us get really comfortable in our lives. I'm right there with you. I love status quo. I love my comfort zone. I love it. But I know better. I know that surprises are going to happen because I need to grow. We all need to grow. And the surprises give us that opportunity. C.S. Lewis says we must stop regarding unpleasant or unexpected things as interruptions of real life. I love this because he's changing the way we view these interruptions or surprises. He says the truth is that interruptions are real life. So rather than fighting this stuff, these surprises, and embracing them, hey, this is part of this evolution. This is part of our lives. This is part of our growth, of our expansion, of what's next. And so to start seeing it a little bit differently, as we've already been taught by Reverend William and Dr. Laura, we can start kind of having a different relationship with the surprises. So you all remember shock and awe, right? Remember that? And I'm not going to get political here at all. Some of you may not even been born when shock and awe came about, when that phrase came about. So my thing is, let's change it. Shock, then awe. Because surprises are really shocking. Dr. Laura spoke of this. They can rock our world, right? It's like, where the heck, what am I going to do? Where did that come from? And we can have that moment of shock, but we've got to move into awe. We've got to move into going to that place, as we've already been told, to go to spirit, to go to what's within ourselves, because we have a huge resource of energy, of guidance, of love, of intelligence that's right there to be tapped into. So we've got to find the awe after the shock. So this is how to deal with surprises. We've got to acknowledge the shock. Absolutely. You know, thank God for this leadership team that I am so grateful to be a part of, because we are not about spiritual bypass. We know that when life happens, when that edge happens, when what did you call it, Reverend William? What you called the life, what is it you said? Not life sucks. Well, I just said that. So when life gets sucky, the surprise happens that was like so not expected, we have to acknowledge it. We don't run away from it. We don't say, oh, that didn't happen. We say, oh my God, WTF, right? Dr. Laura's rubbing off on me, you guys. It's over. It's over. Thank you. Such a good mentor. But yeah, we got to say, yeah, that happened, and I didn't like it very much. That hurt. You know, I talk about trauma. There's such a big movement now to really deal with our traumas individually, collectively, and I'm really into it. And they teach us, you've got to say, yeah, trauma happened here. It happened here. I acknowledge it. I see it. I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm not going to try and ignore it. I'm just going to say, it happened, period. That's all you got to do. Because the next step is opening ourselves up to spirit. That is the next step. After I've acknowledged, see it, yeah, now I open this door to spirit to come pouring in me. And I love what you said, Reverend William. It doesn't come from above. It comes from opening ourselves up, because it's inside of us. So then we go to the awesomeness of spirit, and we say, come on in. And what I love about spirit is I don't have to figure it out. I just have to say, come on in, bring it up. Show me what I need to see that's going to move me out of the pain. Show me what's possible when I'm in the state of seeing impossible. Show me what I need to know to take the next step. That is what spirit does. And hello, pray. I've been praying, I got a holy confession. I have been praying, I think, more the last 6 weeks than I have ever prayed, I think, in my entire life, just because there's so much muckiness in the world. I have a lot of friends going through a lot of stuff, and sometimes I get wrapped up in it, and I fall into that ditch. And I know, thank God I know to pray, because it moves my mind to what I know is ready to come through, to bring better into my life, my friends' lives, the world. Because it's mighty, mighty powerful, that spirit within us. It can do anything. And so when I quiet my mind, who wants to figure it all out, and it can't, I know it cannot, when I quiet my mind and go to my heart and go to prayer, I have just set in motion something wonderful that I am not managing, something wonderful that I am experiencing, something wonderful that is breaking free, this wonderful, amazing solution and resolution that is awesome. See, the mind traps us. It really does. We can't help it. We can't help it. We can't help that we have these minds that love to control us, that think they know it all, that want to figure it all out. We cannot help it. That's okay. But what we can help is opening ourselves up to spirit, because spirit frees us from any constricted experience we are having. Spirit frees us to be able to move forward, to be able to heal, to be able to feel, I got this. That's how powerful spirit is. So I also opened up another book of Ernest Holmes when I was figuring out my talk. It's a book that's a lot easier to read. For those of you that want to read our philosophy, there's The Science of Mind, which is a pretty meaty, dense book. But then there's Living the Science of Mind. Now, that's the easy one to read. But it's our philosophy, but it's written in such a way where it's little chunks and it makes sense. And so I was reading it, and I came to this chapter called God, Your Personal Self. And if you haven't noticed by now, we really believe that spirit is within. And yes, it is personal to us. And that's why we honor every religion, because we don't want to tell anybody how they need to believe. We don't want to tell you that, because there's a system inside of you that kind of already knows what that is to you, for your divinity to be expressed and experienced. So I'm reading this chapter, God, Your Personal Self, and there's all these little subset headings to it, and I'm reading, the life that is within you. Well, that's neat. The mind that is within you. The law that is within you, the power that is within you, the friend that is within you, the healing presence that is within you, the peace that is within you. Do you get it? It's within you. And I read this and I'm like going, wow, Ernest, it's within me. So, woo, like I didn't know that. A reminder every now and then is helpful. But it just made me realize, like I went to this place of the transcendentalists. They were the ones that started this thing called the science of mind. They are our roots because they were bold enough to say, no, everybody, God's not out there. God's right inside of you. All this great stuff, all of it, the way that the law of mind works, the peace that we're searching for, the power, right there. You don't have to look for it. That's the answer. And I want to say this because I know there might be some of you going, those are great words, but I don't feel that. I don't feel spirits within me. I don't feel the power is within me. I get it because I used to be feeling that way too. But I wanted to believe it. I really did. So I just held the space for that to happen. That's all I did. I said, I want to believe this, so I'm just going to allow myself to get there. And I did. I did. So you too can get there. Don't force your mind to get there. Just let yourself be led to experience that and find it in your own self. So I wrote a quote. I'm RDD, Reverend Dr. Dale. Every now and then. So the surprises of life crack us open so we can see the strength, resilience, and creativity that live inside of us. It opens up the earth for us to see, oh my God, I never knew I could do that, or I never knew I had that strength. And you know, it may feel like an earthquake. I know all the surprises I've had in my life, and I love that Dr. Laura brought it up. If anybody here has not had a surprise in their life, may you levitate out of here after service. You're the first. You're the first. But it is like an earthquake sometimes, but that earth opens up and we can see what's inside of ourselves. So it may feel like an earthquake that shakes us to the core, because some surprises do that. They put us on our knees and we have a hard time getting up. But what happens is they reveal inner qualities and possibilities we never knew we had. We were talking about our rise into leadership, Dr. Laura and I, this week, and we didn't know what we were signing up for. The center was going through something, and we had to rise up. And I didn't know, and Dr. Laura, I know you say that, and Reverend William too, we didn't know the qualities of leadership that were inside of ourselves, but there was an earthquake here. There was. And we stepped in and we found the qualities inside of ourselves to lead this place, as did Reverend William. And we all have that. We all have that. Thank you. We all have that. And that's something to look out for in the midst of these surprises where we're not able to find what's the good here, because it's there. So my last quote is this: no matter what happens, rise and bloom. And I love that. I didn't even know your talk was about rise up. No matter what happens in life, we have the capability to rise up and bloom. We all have seeds inside of ourselves that, when watered with optimism, with faith, with gratitude, when we water them, they blossom, they push out through the earth, and they come into a plant and they blossom. And our job is to nurture and believe. That's it. Don't go to a place of saying it's all over, I can't do this, because you can. You can. We all can. We are all wired, everybody. I know we've had our lives that have led us to believe we can't, but we can. All of us. And so my prayer for you, for all of you. When we have our surprises, let us meet our surprises with shock then awe, right? I got the shock, happened, but now rise up and go to awe. Water your seeds. Let the newness come to the surface and blossom, because that's how life recreates itself, and that's the nature of this reality we're in. Have a wonderful, wonderful morning. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.